Oh, shit.
Okay, recording on.
On.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum, students. I hope you will all be fine. Yes, we were on chapter prokaryote, reproduction in bacteria. Topic was left in bacteria in the reduced syllabus. So I will continue from that topic. And today I will also give a lecture on cyanobacteria, and the chapter will get closed inshallah today. So MCQs are present at the end of this chapter. I'm giving you a homework in the beginning. You have to uh, do that. I'll provide you the answers of those MCQs. Then you can tally your answers with my MCQs answer. Okay. So Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's start. Reproduction in bacteria. This is a topic which is included in your condensed syllabus. Bacteria reproduces by both ways, but in the beginning it was not known that they can reproduce sexually. In the beginning, the scientists knew that bacteria can reproduce only asexually, but with the invention of the electron microscope, a process called conjugation was seen, and that indicated that bacteria can reproduce sexually as well. So today we know the various ways of asexual reproduction as well. So bacteria reproduce when conditions are favorable by asexual method, and that asexual method is called as binary fission. And this binary fission, you will see that this binary fission is shown in your book as well, uh, where you will see that there is a bacterium and it has the nucleoid region, and this bacterium first replicates its DNA, and then replica, that is a copy of the DNA, is made. Then a constriction appears in the middle of the parent cell, and this constriction deepens, and that is from both sides, it meets in the center. And the one parent bacterium, which is larger in size, that is divided into two daughter bacteria, and each one with a nucleus, with a nucleoid region in it. So you will see the size of bacteria initially formed by this binary fission is small. Gradually they increase in size, and then again they are able to divide by binary fission. So within a short span of time, one bacterium can divide into two bacteria, and this process takes place within 20 to 30 minutes. So within a short span, bacteria can divide by this division. So binary fission is a kind of asexual reproduction, and this is the fastest mode of asexual reproduction found in living organisms. And you know, bacteria are unicellular. They reproduce by this binary fission, and they increase in number. So you know, whenever asexual organisms are produced, they are the copy of the parent from which they are made. So in asexual reproduction, that is no change in the daughter bacteria takes place. And then there is written another topic, that is the endospore formation. You can see it, and this endospore formation is not a kind of reproduction. Note it down. Sometimes a question comes like this: is endospore formation a kind of reproduction? Your answer will certainly be no, because it is a way of survival in unfavorable conditions. As you will see that in this figure, which is mentioned in your book as well, this is a bacterium shown, a rod-shaped bacterium. And you know that after cell wall, cell membrane comes, and then the cytoplasm, and within the cytoplasm various structures present in it. And you will see that that cytoplasm is displacing from the cell wall, and gradually what happens that a gap appears between the cell wall and the shrink protoplasm, and a cyst appears within the cell wall around the shrunken protoplasm, and this is endospore formation. Endo means inner, that is inner to the cell wall. This endospore is formed under unfavorable conditions. These endospores are formed, and on the approach of favorable conditions, what happens that this cell wall ruptures, and that is the endospore forming bacteria come back to their previous size, and then they start living, and then they reproduce. So that is from one endospore, two bacteria are not coming out. So it is not a kind of reproduction. This is a way of survival in unfavorable conditions. Like you people are aware that whenever we boil milk, then many bacteria, they are killed by heating within the boiled milk. But some bacteria which are endospore forming bacteria, they go into endospore formation, and whenever the milk is left for a long time at a high temperature outside the fridge, and then we are not giving it another boil, so these endospore forming bacteria finds time to come out, and then they start growing and increasing in number, and then they spoil the milk. So endospore forming bacteria have chances of more survival as compared to the other bacteria which cannot go into this state. Even in endospore formation, the bacteria can live for centuries as long as conditions are unfavorable. So on approach of favorable conditions, the bacterium starts living. So this is a way of survival, not a way of reproduction. So I hope you people will be uh, having a complete idea about endospore formation. So you know that I have also shown an asexual reproduction here, where you will see that this is a bacterium and it has a nucleoid region, and this one is the plasmid. This is again a rod-shaped bacterium, and you will see that its new DNA is divided, which is its chromosome, in fact, because prokaryotic chromosome is only composed of DNA. This divides and makes its replica, and then a constriction also starts in the middle of the parent cell, and after division, the replica goes to the other side. The plasmid is also replicated, and the constriction deepens and meets in the center and divides the parent cell into two daughter cells, that is into two daughter bacterial cells, and then you will see that two daughter bacteria are formed. So it's a kind of asexual reproduction. So this is shown here as well. And then you will see that at the end of my this lecture, I have shown the page of your textbook where the rest of the reproduction of bacteria is mentioned. So asexual reproduction is over, then sexual reproduction turns come. So genetic recombination is written a topic that is, as the name indicate, that it's a reunion of genetic material from two different sources, that is from two different bacteria. So whenever the DNA of the two different bacteria joins, then it is called as genetic recombination. This is a way of bringing variability in the bacteria. Otherwise, asexually made bacteria are the copies of the parent cells. So how changes occur, variety occurs in bacteria by genetic recombination. So this is a way of bringing variability among bacteria. Three methods are there by which genetic recombination can take place, and this is also a topic of sexual reproduction in bacteria as well, because previously it was said that bacteria cannot reproduce sexually, but at present we know that bacteria can reproduce. There are three ways, three kinds of sexual reproduction in bacteria. Three methods are there. One is conjugation, the other is transduction, and the third one is transformation. So in conjugation, uh, you will see that I will show you a diagram for conjugation first. Yes, this is a diagram to describe the conjugation process in bacteria. You are familiar with the structure of bacteria. Two rod-shaped bacteria are shown, and this one is the donor, this one is the recipient. This structure coming out from the bacterium is hollow from the inside. This is a pilus. Singular is pilus, many are called as pili. So that is pilus of two bacteria when one donor and one recipient, when they are joined. As I told you in my previous lectures, that pili are not involved in locomotion, they are involved in reproduction. So here in sexual reproduction, which is named as conjugation, their pili plays their role, and they make a conjugating tube by their union between the two different bacteria, and that is through this conjugating tube the cytoplasmic connection is made between the two bacteria of different kinds, and they exchange their genetic material through this conjugating tube. And you will here see that this bacterium was not having any plasmid, but here you will see that the plasmid from the donor bacterium has come into the recipient bacterium through this conjugating tube. And now this bacterium has a changed genetic makeup from the previous one, because now it is changed as it has received some genetic material through the process of conjugation from the donor bacterium. So that is called as conjugation. I'm again returning to your topic from the book, where you will see that conjugation process was carried out by Lederberg and Tatum in 1946. MCQ can come. Who carried out the process of conjugation? Name the scientist and the year in which they did it. So you will find that it is the genetic material is transferred from one bacterium to another through conjugating tube or cytoplasmic bridge, which is made by the union of the pili. So this is called as conjugation. Next comes the transduction. So transduction is a process in which genetic material from one bacterium to another changes. Okay, this figure, genetic transfer between two bacteria. So transduction, transfer of DNA through a third party, that is a virus. For example, you will see that I am indicating the arrow. This is a virus which attack on bacteria, and it is of tadpole shape. It is the virus which attack on bacteria. This virus is called as bacteriophage. You will study about bacteriophage in chapter variety of life. Their life cycle of bacteriophage is mentioned. I will describe that also, inshallah, in another lecture. So for your basic information, this is the protein coat, and inside which is this protein coat is in the form of a head and a tail and tail fibers, and there is a genetic material residing in the head region. And here you will see that whenever this bacteriophage attaches itself to the bacterium's body, then it injects its DNA contain its head into the bacterial body. So DNA of the virus is coming inside the bacterium, and it is not the protein coat which is coming inside. The protein coat is left outside of the bacterium, and only the DNA of the virus which is attacking on bacteria, called bacteriophage, that enters into the bacterium's body. Then you will see that what happens, this virus has various enzymes, and this virus has DNA which starts making its own DNA and destroying the host DNA in a lytic cycle of the bacteriophages, which we will discuss in variety of life. So these fragments, you will see that is the blue color one fragment is the DNA of the virus, but this red color or pink color fragments is the broken DNA of the host bacterium. So you will see that what happens next in this figure. The host bacterium ruptures whenever new bacteriophages are made, and then these bacteriophages comes out from the host bacterium, causing the lysis of the bacterium, and these bacteriophages then enter into, then attack on another bacterium, and then they again enter their DNA. But you will see that this DNA is not the only one, blue color DNA, but the DNA of the bacterium, which is shown by the pink color, that is also entering into the host. So bacteriophage is a third party. Through this third party virus, that is the genetic material from the previous bacterium is entering into another bacterium. So this is a transfer of genetic material from one bacterium to another through a third party, that is virus, which attacks on another bacterium, and it has brought its not only its DNA but the DNA from the previous host as well. So whenever it comes into the host cell, you will see that this DNA become a part of the host DNA. So this is a DNA of the previous host bacterium as well as the DNA of the virus. And there are two cycles of bacteriophages. One is lytic, where the lysis of the host takes place. Another is lysogenic cycle, where the lysis of host doesn't take place. It is a host guest relationship, that is this DNA becomes a part of the host DNA, and both live together without harming the host. And in this way, that is, the bacterium is having a change genetic makeup because of the one which is brought by a third party, that is the virus, which has got entry into the bacterium's body. So you will see um, that this bacterium, whenever it will divide by binary fission, by asexual reproduction, so that is the genetic material will be copied, and the two bacteria formed at the end of binary fission will have this change genetic makeup. In this way, the variability is brought by what? By the transfer of the genetic material by a third party, that is called as bacteriophage. Now comes the turn of the क्या है you don't need to make diagrams for the kinds of reproduction. Just study it, make it clear in your minds, because diagrams are not shown in your textbook. They will not ask about the diagrams. You must know the process, how it takes place. So this was the answer of the jet which I got. I'm coming. So transduction, as you will see in your book mentioned, that is, it is a mode of genetic recombination, that is the union of the genetic material from two bacteria. So this is done by a third party, and the third party, as I told you in the figure, was a bacteriophage, a virus that attacks on bacteria. So this process was carried out by Lederberg and Zender, and the air is also mentioned. So question of this kind can also come, as I told you previous, for the conjugation. The third way of sexual reproduction or genetic recombination in bacteria is transformation. That is, transforming principle is also mentioned. The person who discovered it was Fred Griffith in 1928. So he performed a long experiment, and then he found the results that bacteria can be transformed from one kind to another, and this transformation is through the environment. So within the environment, something can cause the bacteria to change. So what I will describe about it. Yes, this figure is showing transformation. I hope you people will be looking at it and you can understand. Again, you will see that I'm describing, this is a bacterium, again a rod shaped bacterium with the cell wall and then cell membrane and cytoplasm, and this is the nucleoid. So what happens that whenever the environment is not in favor of the growth of bacteria, is unfavorable, then bacteria starts breaking its DNA into fragments and sending its DNA into the environment in which they are living. So if the environment is not in their favor, they start sending their DNA into the environment. So if environment is there which is not favorable, but sometimes environment become favorable, and the other bacteria which live in that environment, in those bacteria, these DNA particles, they are entering, and then they you will see that this is the DNA of another bacterium shown with a different color blue, and here you will see that the DNA from the previous dead bacteria that was thrown into the environment, that is taken up by this bacterium and become a part of the another bacterium. Or in this way, this bacterium has a different genetic makeup than this one, because now what has happened, the genetic recombination has taken place. The DNA of the two bacteria is now joined. This is called as genetic recombination. So this is a transformation. One bacterium is transformed into another kind of bacterium. This is a long practical, long experiment, and its detail will be included in your second year. So there we will discuss all about it. But up till now, it's a simple, just an overview of the work which Fred Griffith performed in 1928. So that one bacterium can be transformed into another bacterium through environment, that is from the environment the broken DNA is entering into the new bacterium and becoming a part of this the new bacterium, and in this way the new bacterium's DNA is changed, because it is not its own DNA only, that is the DNA from another bacterium. So it's a genetic recombination. It's a way of what? It's a way of transformation, transforming from one bacterium into another kind of bacterium. And this is the third kind of sexual reproduction in bacteria. So I hope I have described the topic of reproduction in bacteria in detail. And now comes the turn of cyanobacteria. So that is cyanobacteria, as you know, they are included in kingdom Prokaryote along with bacteria. So cyanobacteria topic is present on 110 page in your textbook, and this has started, and this is included in your reduced syllabus. So salient features of cyanobacteria are there. As I told you, the first point, that they are the prokaryotes, and they are unicellular like bacteria, but they can occur in colonial form like bacteria. And colony, you can see here, yes, here you can see a picture. Okay, I will start it. If it will not be completed, we will complete it in another lecture, inshallah. So you will see that some salient features of the prokaryotes are given, and there is a figure where I will tell you about it. This is, yes, this figure 6.5 in your book. This is a colony of cyanobacteria, which is called as blue-green algae. And a gelatinous mass is covering this whole colony, which is rounded in shape, and it floats on the surface of water. And the number of these colonies is so big in the water that they impart the blue-green color to the water as well. So gelatinous mass is covering these cyanobacteria, which are unicellular, but here you will see that the rounded cyanobacteria, they are arranged in such a way that they are making a chain of cells like beads on a string. So they are unicellular, but they live in colony. And you know, colony is a agreement, assemblage of similar kind of cells, that is, they are not reaching to the tissue level. They each one is an individual cell, and they are living together. So you will see that these filaments are there, and this filament is shown here. This is called as trichome. The filaments, where a chain of cells, you can see rounded cells, vegetative cells are there, and around them the gelatinous mass is present. This gelatinous mass is helping them to remain hydrated and stick together. So this is called as filament. Many filaments are there in this colony, which are interwoven on one another. And this colony is present in freshwater mostly. Some marine cyanobacteria are also found, but mostly they are live in freshwater. So that is the habitat of these cyanobacteria. So this structure, which is filament, we call a terminology for it, that is trichome. So this trichome, you will see a beaded structure, that is, each one is a cell, is an individual cyanobacterium. And you will see here and there in the middle or at the end, there are some enlarged cells. These cells are heterocyst cells. These cells are different from the vegetative cells. Their function is to fix nitrogen. They fix nitrogen into its compounds and provide the nitrogen to the cells, and to the other vegetative cells. And the other vegetative cells, they carried out the process of photosynthesis, and they make ready the food. And then these heterocysts are the points where these trichomes usually break, and they are thrown into fragments, and these fragments are called as harmogonia, singular harmogonium. And whenever these fragments come out from the colony, and then they start dividing and increasing in number, they make more long chain of these filaments, and many filaments are formed in another colonies made in this way. So whenever you will look at the detailed structure of each cell, uh, you will come to know that each cell has an cell wall. Cell wall is double layer, outer cell wall and inner cell wall. And the outer cell wall is composed of cellulose and pectic compounds, while inner cell wall is composed of cellulose. And this is a difference which is different from the bacteria. Bacteria doesn't have cellulose, but here in the same kingdom, prokaryotic cyanobacteria have cellulose in their cell wall. Next comes the turn of the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is present inside the cell membrane, and nucleoid region is there. Outer colored part is the of the cytoplasm is the chromoplasm, and inner one is the centroplasm. So that is they have nucleoid region, they have ribosomes, and they have lamellae. I will show you lamellae in another picture. That is, this colony is called as synobium, and the plural for many colonies are synobia. So you will come across a term that is synobium here. And the chlorophyll found here in the chromoplasm, that is the colored part of the cyanobacteria, they have chlorophyll A. That is a kind of chlorophyll which is found in higher plants as well. And xanthophyll is there. Xanthophyll is yellow color pigment. Carotene is there, and carotene is orange color. Phycocyanin, which is a blue pigment, is there, and phycoerythrin, which is a red pigment, is there. More pigments are blue and green, that is phycocyanin and chlorophyll A, the green pigment. They are more in amount because of these two pigments, that is the color of these cyanobacteria looks blue green, so therefore the name is given to them. So these pigments are not located in the plastids, as these are the prokaryotes, they lack plastids. And these pigments are present in the invaginated plasma membrane, which is making the lamellae. It is a primitive character. As you know, prokaryotes are primitive cells and eukaryotes are advanced cells. So filaments are many in the colony, and usually this shape is rounded or oval, while some cells they are enlarged, and that is they are called as heterocyst. And there is total absence of double membrane bounded organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, Golgi bodies, and vacuole. While what is present in the cytoplasm, ribosomes are present, pseudovacuole, pseudo means false, false vacuoles, reserve food in the form of cyanophyces, starch is present, and this starch is there, while bacteria was having a different kind of stored food products, and the cyanophyces starch is present in the cyanophyce, which is a reserve food material in them. And then you will see Okay, so first I'll again mention the points here. You can see that these are the salient features. Another thing which is written in the salient features, you will see total absence of sexual reproduction. So in prokaryote, bacteria can reproduce sexually, but cyanobacteria cannot reproduce sexually. Only asexual reproduction is found in the cyanobacteria, and the ways of asexual reproduction is harmogonia, and that is the zoospores, akinets and fragments, and we will discuss these various ways of asexual reproduction in separate topic of reproduction in cyanobacteria. So I hope this is clear for you people. So cyanobacteria are called cyanobacteria are called cyanobacteria. Why? Because they are blue green in color because of the pigments, blue spicocyanine and the green pigment chlorophyll A more in them, and due to which they look blue green in color. So heterocyst, as I told you, is the cell different in from the other vegetative cells. This is meant for what? This is meant for nitrogen fixation. So nutrition in bacteria, as long as it is concerned, this is also in your reduced syllabus. So nostoc, as you know, because of the pigments, is autotroph, and it is blue green algae, and it is capable of fixing atmospheric nitrogen as well, and to convert this nitrogen into nitrates with the help of the special cells called as heterocysts. So why this nitrogen is needed? You know, nitrogen is an important component of amino acids, and amino acids, when they join together, they make proteins. Nitrogen is also needed for making of nucleic acids. So that is for making of nucleotides. So that is this all activity of nitrogen fixation takes place where? In the heterocyst. So they can carry out their photosynthesis, in which they use carbon dioxide and water with the help of light, and that is they produce glucose, and the glucose is converted into starch. They release oxygen because they are using water as a source of hydrogen, so they are releasing oxygen, and you know, bacteria were releasing sulfur. So I will give you a homework of write down the difference between a bacterium between bacteria and cyanobacteria. So two homework are given to you people. We will discuss the reproduction and the importance in a separate topic. So I'm